Hey guys, welcome back to Jay's Fit Down the Football Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got a great podcast for you today. Recapping Sunday's action, week 4 in the NFL. A lot to get to, a lot to unpack. But before we start, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Check us out here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Jay's Fit Down will be there. So make sure you give us a check out and listen to our content, watch our content, recapping NFL every single week, giving you all the latest news and headlines you need to know for all levels of football. So busy Sunday in NFL yesterday, had a few comebacks, had a few interesting, close, tight games, gritty games. One quarterback lost his starting job. A few people got hurt, so we'll talk about that. But main thing I wanted to talk about first is the New York Jets are 2-2. The New York Jets are 2-2 right now. So I mean, this is crazy. The New York Jets are 2-2. Like, they have won 2 games and they have lost 2 games. Their record is good. I mean, this is a team that is going to keep fighting each and every week. Every Sunday, they're going to get after it. And Robert Saleh has his guys believing that, hey, no matter who we play, we're going to go out there, give our 100%, get after you offensively, defensively, we're going to get after you as well. Just make your day hard. And, we're not going to stop fighting until that final whistle blows in the fourth quarter. The clock hits 0, right? So he's got that mentality he's instilled up there in New York, bringing that tough defensive mindset he brought from San Francisco. And he's overall, he's grown it to a point where it's the culture he's trying to build with the Jets, because this is an organization that has lacked a culture in a number of years. And so for him to come there and over the last couple of years, win the guys, win their trust and their belief in him. And, he believes in them as well. Like, hey, these are the guys I think are going to give us a chance to win, football games. And he believes in the Jets. I mean, they did it without a lot of starting offensive linemen were hurt for them. And the fact they were able to get that win against the Steelers was pretty, impressive. So kudos out to the Jets on that. But on Pittsburgh side of things, Mitchell Trubisky got a bench for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's first pass was an interception when he came in. So, welcome to the NFL, my friend. But he played well, but not good enough. And so the Jets get the win. Now, if you're the Steelers moving forward, if you're Mike Tomlin, are you going to start Kenny Pickett next week, or are you going to still roll for Mitchell Trubisky? We don't know yet. Tomlin has not revealed who will be the starter next week, but I'm sure we'll get that news later on this week, and we'll let you know when we hear about that. But for right now, Mr. Trubisky is still the starter. Kenny Pickett just came in and, tried to get some type of offensive flow going, but was not able to do that. And this has been one of the Steelers' problems the last couple of games, really since the start of the season. They have not been able to create any type of offensive identity, any type of balance, any type of rhythm. There's no flow to that offense. The receivers are struggling. They're not catching the ball, and the routes they're not getting good separation, and the quarterback play has been subpar. Less than average, subpar, at least. I mean, it just hasn't been good. It hasn't been good enough, and Najee Harris can only do so much. I mean, you cannot run that man to death, and the Steelers know that. I mean, but they have no choice. If the passing game's not working, they're going to have to, because Najee Harris is really your only consistent offensive player right now. If you look at it, I mean, George Pickens, he's emerging. He's doing well, but overall, the team is just not doing that good, offensively. And they got to get that going. Matt Canada has got to get some type of rhythm in that offense. Some strategic, schematic play calling going. I don't know, but they got to get it better, because if they don't, then it's going to be a long year for the Steelers, and Mike Tomlin knows that. So hopefully they'll get that together there in Pittsburgh. But just something I noticed, and you guys can let me know what you think. But do you think the Steelers are they going to get it together? Are they going to get some type of offensive identities? Like teams aren't going to say, oh, they're going to run Najee Harris this play. They're going to run Najee Harris this play. He's going outside. He's going on a sweep, or he's going straight up the middle. Your offense cannot become so predictable to the point where every team knows what you're going to run each and every play. But the Steelers are kind of moving into that light, and so they've got to get away from that and create some consistency and good play on the offensive side of the football. And not having TJ Watt doesn't help either on defense, but it's still a decent group of guys out there, but Yeah, the offense has got to get it better. And same thing with the Patriots, and the Colts. Like, these are all three teams historically that have had, tough, good defenses, and the offenses were capable of moving the ball up and down the field. Strong run game, strong play action game, just enough to win the football game, manage the game, overall. But the past couple of games this year, and a little bit of last season as well with the Patriots, but they just haven't established any offensive identity. No, there's no consistency there. Matt Jones is hurt right now for New England. Brian Hoyer got hurt as well in the matchup against the Packers yesterday, so they're relying on Bailey Zappi, the rookie out of Western Kentucky. So he's going to be getting the starting nod. Looks like going into next week, and the Patriots are at 1-3. They've got to get something together. They got to. And I was seeing something about them trying to sign Cam, like, hey, maybe they should sign Cam Newton. A lot of people were tweeting, hey, they should call Cam Newton. Like, no, don't do that. Bill Belichick, if you're watching this podcast, do not, don't do that. You're just going to have to get creative, keep the game book simple for Zappi, and just try to establish some type of offense, and that's the big thing I believe for New England to do. And the Colts, they're not looking that good either for the first couple weeks of the year. They had a good game beating the Chiefs last week, but they barely squeaked out of that. But the offense, again, is not doing that well. Matt Ryan and those guys, they're just the offense is not what we're used to seeing it. And Jonathan Taylor got hurt, but the news came out today that he should play on Thursday night against the Broncos. He had an ankle injury, but it seems like, it won't be nothing too serious. So that's good news to hear, if you're a Colts fan. But they take on Denver on Thursday night, a team that is 2-2. They're still floating their way through the year, trying to get themselves established as well. So it'll be a good matchup to see, which offense will start to show some rhythm and pace and get something established there. That's my big keys for that game. But still on week 4, Chiefs and the Bucks last night on Sunday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, the classic matchup we all know. They last met in the Super Bowl, where Patrick Mahomes was running for his life, throwing crazy sidearm passes this way and that way, trying to get something to help his team out and help them to win the game, but it wasn't enough. Bucks were going to win the Super Bowl, but the Chiefs had a little bit of they're having a little bit of a rocky start this year. Tyreek Hill goes to the Dolphins. Everybody's like, who is going to step up, be that guy for Patrick Mahomes to get the ball to out there on the field, and guy that's going to help them and continue to build that great offense along, right? And they add Juju Smith-Schuster in offseason. McCall Hardman is trying to emerge into that role, but Travis Kelce always going to be the great player he is, and the great guy he is. So, for the Chiefs to come out there and get that win in Tampa was pretty impressive. Patrick Mahomes finished 23 of 37 for 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. They rushed for over 189 yards total, and that's surprising because the Chiefs don't really run the ball a lot, and they don't really do it well when they do. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 19 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. The rookie Isaac Pacheco, he had a great game, 11 carries, 63 yards. Just that change of pace back to come in there and get those tough yardages, right? And the Chiefs just had a good game plan coming in. They had a good game plan. They knew what they wanted to do offensively, and defensively were able to stifle the run for the Bucks because the Bucks only rushed for 3 yards in the whole game. That's really unheard of. 3 yards. Tampa Bay only rushed for 3 yards in that game, and because they were down majority of the game, so they had to keep passing, right, to catch up. And Tom Brady playing catch up. He finishes over 300 yard passing, 3 touchdowns. He gets his number one wideout back in Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, those guys. But Tampa has got they got to find a way to get things consistent and get back to what they were doing. That's gotten them to the playoffs the last couple of years, the Super Bowl, more than a year ago. So they got to get back to that. And but yeah, overall, it was a good game for the Chiefs. They again just dominated pretty much, and Mahomes had another crazy, pass. And I'm like, how does this dude do it? Like, he's really out here playing Madden, on the football field. Like, if you're a high schooler or whatever, middle school, do not try to do what Patrick Mahomes does, because your coach will get really mad at you, and you might lose a game. But I'm saying, this is a guy that's just a magician with the football. I mean, he's like Steph Curry, but with football. It's insane. Him and Josh Allen, Lamar, these are the league is really headed in a good direction with our quarterbacks here, and it's just crazy to see. But Patrick Mahomes is doing things he's done in the short time span that he has done it. He says he came in 17 as a rookie at backing up Alex Smith, and 18 he breaks out, has over 50 passing touchdowns. They go to the AFC Championship game. Next year they win the Super Bowl, and they're back in the hunt the next couple of years. So it's just the Chiefs are always, I think, as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, they have a chance to win a Super Bowl every year. So, but yeah, just a really crazy game. And I just believe that, Patrick Mahomes is on a vengeance trail this year. Like, hey, people were saying I'm not, people saying Tyreek Hill made me and all this and that. Like, no, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm an MVP. I won a Super Bowl. Like, I just created as much as part of that offense as he did, and it's so that's what he's trying to prove, I believe, this year. But it's a great game there. The Bills and the Ravens, Ravens were up a lot. Bills came back in the game, won 23-20. Josh Allen, once again, doing his thing and, getting out of trouble in the pocket and making those crazy passes downfield or running it right, and they were able to get the win. And John Harbaugh, head coach for the Baltimore Ravens, was asked about his decision to kick to go for it on fourth down instead of kicking a field goal when the Ravens had the ball late in the game, and he said basically, well, I didn't want to kick it because if we get 3 and they drive the field on us, which they've been doing the whole game, and we lose the game, right? That's it. But if we score, we convert on fourth down, we score the football. Then it's a tie game. We go to overtime. We still have a chance to win. And I guess I understand his logic there, but at the same time, it's like, if you get the easy points, your defense might get a stop. You don't know, but they didn't. But I guess I understand where he's coming from there, and because their defense has been getting just lit up, and that's the thing for Baltimore. I believe that they are in trouble if they do not get that defense together, because the last couple of games it's just been like the comebacks that they've allowed to Miami and down to Buffalo. They've got to play a full 4-quarter game of football on all sides, all 3 sides of the ball. Special teams, offense, defense, they all work into correlation with each other. If your special team is bad, you're muffing punts, and you're fumbling on the kickoff return and all that stuff, and you're missing field goals. That's but your offense and defense are doing good. You're not going to win football games. Like you might, but it's very rare, because you have to have all 3 phases of the game in great correlation, great symphony in order for you to be successful. That's how the game is won in the trenches on both sides of football. And it's also won in special teams area. These are how you've got to establish your teams. That you got to be good on special teams, offense, and defense, right? And the Ravens right now, just defensively, they are not playing full quarter games, and they've had some injuries, but for the most part, everybody's back now and healthy, and you got to get some consistency on that side of the football, if you're going to win football games in this league. So, moving on, we got Monday Night Football to finish off Week 4 here. The Rams and the 49ers. The Rams beat the Cardinals last week 20-12. Just still trying to get back to where they were last season. You end up going to the Super Bowl. They had really high-paced offense, Sean McVay-led offense, right? And they're still trying to find that niche there. And then you got the 49ers, on the other hand, 1-2. Trey Lance, they lose him to a season-ending injury. And Jimmy G is back in the fold for the 49ers, and they get the win over the Seahawks the other week. Lost to the Broncos last week, but they gotta continue to get that run game going and get Jimmy G and that play action pass going as well. Just able to establish that balance on offense that Kyle Shanahan likes to see. He's gonna run Deebo Samuel in the backfield. The sweeps and reverses, all that stuff, and and the Rams defense is pretty good, so I don't expect them to do a lot of that, because they know the Rams have played them. They're in the division, so they play every year, and they know what they like to do offensively. So that's the thing where if you're Kyle Shanahan, you got to find some other ways to get guys involved that aren't so predictable. You can't run Deebo Samuel at the middle like 10 times, because that's just not gonna. You got to do what the defense gives you. You got to take that and manifest it into a great offensive game plan and be able to execute on your plays, right? Jimmy Garoppolo's got to maintain that level of execution. He's got to make the throws, standing there in the pocket, make those throws downfield, throw it away if nothing's there. Don't turn the football over. That's the big thing. You cannot turn the football over. And the 49ers, they got to get that run game going. They activated veteran wide receiver Willie Snead to the active roster just today, so he will be joining them tonight in the matchup against the Rams as well. And Tevin Cohen is expected to be called up from the practice squad also at that running room there in the backfield. So, overall, I think the keys for a win for both teams is just, get some offensive rhythm, and just, got to get the football in the end zone, and you can't win kicking field goals, right? That's the thing. They got to get the ball in the end zone, establish a run game, let the clock eat some of that clock offensively, and then so the defense can get some rest and get after you. And both of these defenses are really good, especially the pass rush for both teams. Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, right? Ernest Jones is playing good as well. And we all know about Jalen Ramsey and those guys back there in the secondary. So for the 49ers, they've had a great play on their defense. Also, Fred Warner, Al-Aziz Shire, he's playing good. So I think the keys for both of them is they just got to, get after it and run the football and make those timely throws when you got to make them, and not turn the football over. And that's the big key right there for San Francisco or Los Angeles win. But we'll see tonight what happens. You guys can catch that game on ESPN tonight at, I believe, 8:15 right there. So Monday Night Football, also the Manning cast with Peyton and Eli will be on ESPN too. So if you guys want to listen to those two guys calling the game and making their jokes and having their special guests on, you can do that as well. Again, that'll be on ESPN too. But the main broadcast will be again on ESPN. So. And then Thursday night, we got the Colts and the Broncos. Jonathan Taylor, he had an ankle injury, but he's expected to play Thursday night. Doctor says it's nothing serious, so he should be back good to go on Thursday against the Broncos. Javonte Williams, however, tough news for Denver fans. He is out for the year. Had an ACL injury yesterday. They confirmed that today after he got an MRI. So prayers up to him and his family as he deals with that. But Javonte, and he's such a great, talented running back, and you hate to see things like that happen to these players, especially these young players who are really coming into their own third, second year. And he's a guy I was really looking forward to watching with Denver this year. But he is out for the year with that ACL injury. So he'll be back. I know he's going to be back good and ever for next season, but now the Broncos will lean heavily on Melvin Gordon to get the job done on the ground and try to see if they can get a win out against Matt Ryan and the Colts, who have been struggling for themselves lately. So it'll be, again, an interesting matchup. We got this has been a really so far intriguing 2022 season. Like, it feels like it's more even. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. You let me know what you think in the comments. But I feel like this has been an even season for the most part. It's not like there's this team that jumps out like, hey, they're the clear dominant team. Maybe the Bills, right? Possibly, if the Ravens defense was better, maybe them. But overall, there's really no team that jumps out to me that say, hey, we're the best team in the NFL. Like, kind of like how the Rams were last year a little bit, like, hey, we're just going to score points on you. Like, got a great defense. Like, we're blowing you out almost every game, just dominance on all sides of the ball. Right. But I don't see that so far this year. But yeah, that wraps us up for the podcast, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And make sure, again, you hit that subscribe button for more. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And make sure you guys catch out some Monday Night Football action tonight on ESPN. Thanks for watching.